morning, or depending on when you're watching this, good afternoon, good evening, or good night. My name's Ross, and as always told, out of Voice of Radio. So today, I'm going to go a little bit negative today, I'm going to be honest with you, and I'm going to ask the question of whether Rebel Clash might have been the worst Pokemon TCG set ever, or if not ever, at least in the past couple of years. I keep seeing people saying mean things about this set, so you know what? It's time to dig in and see if Rebel Clash was as bad as people said, or whether it's getting a bit of a bum rap. I will say, Rebel Clash has now reached that point where it is starting to go up in price on eBay at the moment. I mean, the best booster box I could find, the cheapest one I could find right now is $195 over on eBay. Most of them are around about the $250-ish mark. You'll see there's a $220 right next to it. It's averaging about $250 at the moment. There are some $220s there, and occasionally you'll find some a little bit cheaper. But the fact remains, this is an older set. It is a set where the price is going up, and we need to ask the question, well, hang on a second, was this as bad as people actually said, or is this one we need to be maybe looking for before it gets ridiculous? And of course, this was Sword and Shield 2, the second Sword and Shield set. It launched in English on May the 1st, 2020. It is nearly 4 years old at this point, so it is getting to the stage where we would expect it to start jumping up in price. At least in terms of booster boxes. How are singles doing? Fine. You really should not ever be looking to pick up Rebel Clash boxes to try and open and pull singles. It's too easy to get the singles you want. Like, the number one card in the set, the actual number one card in the set, is Full Art Boss's Orders, which is currently about a $40 card. $40 for the number one card in the entire set. Number two card in the set is Full Art Sonya, which honestly is coming in at around about $25. That's the number two card in the set. And then after the top two, we've got your Rainbow Rare Boss's Orders, which is about an $18 card. We got Full Art Ninetales, which is coming in somewhere in the region of around about a $15 card. There's nothing really here in terms of value. Like I say, when the number 1 and 2 cards are $40 and $25, you should never be buying packs of Rebel Clash to open, because it's too cheap a set, it's too easy to find, it's too easy to get. Ignore this set, because there's no point. Now, if you want to buy it to keep it sealed, you go nuts. That's a great idea. If you want to buy this to open because you like opening packs and you like Rebel Clash, you go for it, man. But actually buying it to try and pull good cards, there is absolutely no point whatsoever. Go and pick up singles. The singles are still hilariously cheap. Cool? Cool. But what about in terms of a set? We've already very quickly decided that this actually was not a particularly good set. For value, it's just not there. So if it's not there for value, what is it like in terms of collectability? If we take value out of it for a moment, and we just look at the set as a whole and ask kind of simply, was it cool? The answer is not compared to a lot of sets. You see, in the Sword and Shield era, we got into all these lovely artwork cards. They just weren't really there for Rebel Clash. Like, in Rebel Clash, there were 3 kinds of fancy cards. There were full art cards, both Pokemon and supporters, but not special illustration rares, just full arts, and they're not as good as the more recent special illustration rares. They're cool, and like I say, Boss's Orders and Sonya attracted some value compared to the rest of the set, but that was it. And in terms of Pokemon, the only other thing you got, the Pokemon Vs came as full art. Let's use Copperaja, Dragapult, and Rillaboom as examples. And then the VMAXs come as Rainbow Rare. That's what we've got. That was it for the set. And then there were some gold cards. And we had gold Pokemon like Frostmoth. We had gold trainer cards like Scoop Up Net. And there was even a gold Twin Energy in there as well. And man, I miss Twin Energy. Twin Energy was cool. And does come from this set. It is one of the best cards in this set. We'll get there in a moment. But honestly, in terms of collectability, there really wasn't very much here either. it's not that great a set to collect. You know, by the time we get into battle styles, for instance, we start getting those wonderful alternate art cards. Let's look at the Empoleon and the Tyranitar, for instance. They were amazing cards, wonderful cards. Yeah, we didn't have them at the time. Sorry about that. Nowadays, we've got illustration rares of regular Pokemon and special illustration rares of Pokemon EX, as well as supporter cards. And these give real good chase cards in the set. The ones I'm showing here just from Paradox Rift because it's the most recently released set. It is awesome. Yeah, there's none of that back in Rebel Clash. Rebel Clash was in the early part of the Sword and Shield era, where it seemed, and I don't have any insider information here, I'm just looking at the sets, it really seemed like Pokemon were trying to figure out what they wanted to do, how they were going to figure this out. And it's almost like it took them until Battle Styles to finally go, Full Arts and Rainbow Rares aren't enough, let's put something truly awesome in here. Because at this stage, I'm going to be honest with you, they hadn't actually managed to do it yet. So, it's not great in terms of value of cards. You're not getting any big hits when you're opening booster packs of this cards. It's not great from a collecting standpoint because we're missing a lot of the real cool cards that we would get in later sets. Really, the first year of Sword and Shield, the first 4 sets, was not my favourite because all we had were Full Arts, Rainbows and Gold. We didn't have all the cool stuff we would get later. From Battle Styles onwards really was the start of Pokemon going, let's knock it out the park. And I honestly believe, starting with Battle Styles, which was Sword and Shield 5, that is when Pokemon nailed it. And from then on, in terms of art, I don't think any trading card game can challenge Pokemon. There are some really good ones out there, you know how much I love One Piece, but Pokemon is the best as far as I'm concerned in terms of art and art style and all of that art direction since Battle Styles. But it really was those alternate art cards coming in Battle Styles that made the difference. We didn't have them in the first year of Sword and Shield. So what's left? We've got Playability. Now, we did get one very, very good deck introduced in Rebel Clash. It was Dragapult V Max. Max Phantom for 2 energy did 150 to the active and placed 5 damage counters. And there was a 3-month period before Darkness Ablaze released where this was the best deck in the format. And I mean that very sincerely. This was very literally the best deck in the format. There was a 3-month period where nothing was as good as this set. The problem was, we then got Darkness Ablaze. And one of the things Darkness Ablaze brought in was Eternatus. And Eternatus just killed Dragapult. Dragapult really wasn't viable when Eternatus came out. Better deck, hits for weakness. Dragapult had that 3-month period where Rebel Clash was the most recent set, where it was the best deck in the format, hands down, no question. It ran out really quickly. And then what else have we got? I mean, we had the pair of Phalanx. We've got the one that for 2 energy does 30 damage for each of your bench Pokemon that has Phalanx in its name. Yes, that includes Phalanx V. And then we had Phalanx V that took 20 less damage from your opponent's attacks. And that's all of your Phalanx, not just the Phalanx V. And that was a cool deck, but it was never really amazing. We had Galarian Weezing, the turned off abilities, that was cool. We had Malamar V Max with its Max Jammer attack. 180 and you get to look at your opponent's hand, pop a card on the bottom of their deck. That saw a little bit of play here and there. But the fact that I've gone to Malamar and Phalanx straight away kind of tells you what you need to know about this set. This was not a particularly well played set. Like, Inteleon V Max was alright. Saw a bit of play. Wasn't terrible. Yeah, Ninetales V got teched into a couple of decks. Woo. Honestly, the enduring best Pokemon in the set was Eldegoss V, which did get reprinted later. But it just had the ability Happy Match to let you go and grab a supporter card from your discard pile into your hand when you played it. But the fact that it was from your discard pile, not from your deck, meant it didn't actually see as much play as something that got it from your deck for that exact reason. And that was really it in terms of Pokemon. It was not a great Pokemon set. Yeah, there was a new Beware that was adorable, but it wasn't any good. Sorry about that. And even in terms of trainer cards, like we got Boss's Orders. Yeah, that was huge. This was the first set where we got Boss's Orders, and it was a very big deal. We had Capacious Bucket to search for water energy. Gallo Mine increasing retreat cost saw some play. Scoop Up Net was legitimately busted. And then we had, the aforementioned Twin Energy. And that was largely it. We basically had Dragapult for 3 months. We had Eldegoss. And then we had a few trainer cards that saw a bit of play. And some of them were amazing. Things like Boss's Orders and Twin Energy were nuts. Same with Scoop Up Net. Those 3 cards were redonk. But if that's the best I can say about this, I don't know, ladies and gentlemen. I don't know. But now it's over to you guys. I've given you my opinion on this. I've told you what I think about this. Now I want to hear what you think. I've not made a very compelling case for Rebel Clash to be a good set. I think it is one of the weaker sets we've had, probably ever. But I want to know where you come down, so let me know in the comment section. Go nuts! Be nice! And then make sure you like this video, subscribe to this channel, follow me on Twitter at TheWasi. That's where we talk about Pokemon and a whole bunch of other card games. And please do consider checking out patreon.com/PTCG Radio, where you can support the channel, get some bonus podcasts, join a Discord, and all kinds of fun things. And get shoutouts on the channel, like the lovely Uber MX, who's been a supporter of ours for a long time now and is a very lovely person. So shout out to them for the support and the loveliness. But by far the most important thing as always, look after yourselves till next time, would ya? Thank you very much for watching. My name's Ross, and you've been watching PTCG Radio.